Hi everyone, welcome. We're going to get started in just 1 minute. So if you're interested in learning about the fears of AI in L&D, stick around. I will ask a couple of questions to the audience as well as we get into it, so I'll be interested to hear what you guys think. Can you hear me okay? Loud and clear? Okay, so just to give you a bit of background, we've been in learning and development for about 10 years. We've built other LMS products, we've built other authoring tool products, and the product which we're going to show you briefly today, as well as talk about some of the fears around AI in L&D, is an AI authoring tool. Okay, you might have used them before, tried them, been disappointed by them, or been really impressed. But we're actually just behind you there. So if you do want to come and talk to us after, take a demo, try and build a course, we can get into that as well, okay? So just so as we get started here, we've found a real trend as we've been talking to customers all over the world about this. You know, we work with Mitutoyo, Snap-on, Sherwin-Williams, some really big names already. And what we've found is that even though they're really big organizations, they are coming into this early adopters category. So ones that aren't scared to try new things. Anyone here kind of in that early adopters stage? Yeah, the risk takers, people which are at the forefront of learning technology, people that know that everything that needs to happen going forward in an organization needs to take advantage of the best technology. We've then got evidence-driven adopters, and these are people that need to see proof. They need to see it working, tested, trialed, case studies, friends use it. Anyone from those sectors here? Yeah, a bit more reserved. And then we have the late-stage resistors, and these tend to be people that don't believe it, don't like it, don't want change, don't want it, and you've probably all got those in. He's pointing at him. And all these people are in our organizations today, and they do slow stuff down. So when we're thinking about AI in an organization, we need early adopters and potentially evidence-driven adopters to help move these businesses going forward. And the risk and the fear here is that if we do go and we adopt AI in our businesses, does that make us redundant? If we're too heavily reliant on AI, does that mean that we don't have any value anymore? And that's what we're here to talk about and kind of get into, to be honest. So if you were an early adopter of AI in your business, you've used it early on, you've got a lot of great impacts from it, you know that it's going to work, okay? What we're doing is amplifying what's going to work in your business. So with AI, let's say you don't want to use it, you want to keep things as they are, keep the status quo. If you do want to change and you do want to bring AI into the business, you're able to then amplify what you're already able to do. So if you are building content, if you are building systems, if you are, in this case, building education, your impact, I think, as a learning and development professional actually gets much bigger. Because rather than spending 80 to 90% of your time creating the skeleton, the kind of outline of the course, this is going to create all of that for you within 3 to 4 minutes. And we're not replacing your skill. All we're doing is replacing your time. A lot of you here know exactly what you want to teach. You know the outcomes of what you want to teach. But what you need is that initial 80, 90% built for you to go and spend your time developing who needs to take this training, where does the organization actually need to go, and then building content quickly and accurately that reflects the requirements and needs of the organization. And then we feel that AI is actually giving us all a much bigger impact in L&D because we can just contribute so much more to our organizations rather than relying on currently more antiquated methods, frankly, of building things manually. And so we need to ask ourselves, are we protecting like our jobs, or should we be thinking about how we should be using AI to improve the experience of our learners? Okay. So we had all these fears before. So if you imagine back in early noughties when all the training first digitized for the first time. So we went from classroom training with 20 people in the classroom, just standing there, you're repeating the training. And then we went to this online world. Wow, e-learning. So we've got stuff that's now digitized. All the trainers back then, and I speak to them all the time, they went, well, are we out of a job? Do we still need to work? Like, is this going to replace us? It's automatic. People can do training whenever they want. And what they realized is actually they just amplified their skill, their knowledge throughout the business to thousands of learners rather than just that 20 initially that came in. So a lot more people benefited from it. And now what we're seeing is an evolution beyond that. So when you're in that seat, that position of responsibility in your business to create content and to change the way your organization learns, you can now do that so much faster. You can give your teams access to content creation that builds that 80, 90% and just leave them to build out that 10% where their skills and their application in your business as to why you hired them, they actually have that time to now make an impact. So, I spoke to a lot of companies today over here. We get lots and lots of businesses coming over that are interested in this because they don't know how to demonstrate their impact to their leadership. Nor do I, apparently. My screen's turned off. But that 67%, that's great. I think my laptop ran out of battery. They're thinking, okay, how do I demonstrate that value to my organization? And they can show a compliance report. They can go into the system and say, we've had 4,000 active users this month. We're on 70% compliance. Okay, great. So what does that actually translate to in terms of knowledge in the business? Where are the skill gaps? Where are people getting things wrong? Where are people struggling? Okay. With something like this, with our tool, you can come in, you can ask the reports and the knowledge within the system, where are people failing? Where are people getting things wrong? And then build training and react to that training so that when you have those learning outcomes, you can constantly review them, constantly build better training as a result, and that cycle continues because we're getting loads of feedback from the AI. We'll see if we can power that back up. I do have a backup notes on my phone, so don't panic. So one of the things we're seeing in organizations at the moment, and this is a real problem for all of us, is when we have questions, where do we go? So we go to AI, we ask ChatGPT, we go to our colleague that might get it wrong, we go to our manager, and we're trying to figure out knowledge that maybe wasn't included in that training. And the worst fear of us all is they're not going to come to me because it's a stupid question. They might not ask me because they're fearful, actually, I should know this, really, and now they go online to try and get the answers themselves. So to address this fear, what we've built is a chat inside of the course. So in the time of learning, someone can speak to the course, ask specific knowledge-based questions about that training, and they're going to get answers relevant to the course that you've set up, that you've approved, so you know that anyone that needs help and assistance, they're going to get the correct answers because you've established what those correct answers are. And in your niche, in your specific industry, in those specific skill sets, that's going to change all the time. And you can't go online to get those answers. You can't go to a library, and so you do need to speak to someone that's available, I think now, 24 hours a day to figure out and get these answers. If we can get that back on, I've got a lovely video to show you. So the question is for us, okay, AI is already an integral part of learning and development world. And we can either resist that and we can say that we don't want that, we don't want it in our industry, we don't want it in our space, but inevitably we can see it's happening around us anyway. So we can protect the way we work, or we can welcome that in with open arms, and we can make a difference by implementing tools like Edplay, like any of these businesses here that have AI integration in parts of their system for us to make a bigger impact. Now, I was going to show you the video here, but unfortunately, have you got a connector, Viktor, with the video? So just to give you a brief overview of Edplay before that comes online. We've got the ability to build any course in any language for any skill set, for any level of learner in 3 to 4 minutes. You can create video. You can build pretty much any length of course. and you can host that on your own LMS. You can put that in your own system. You can build that on our platform. And just for context, we built a 160 course library in a month, and it cost us about $4,000 in credits. Before we built that same 160 course library, it took us 2 years and over £100,000 in just staff fees. And what we're looking at here now is that course build. So if any of you do want to maybe try and win an iPad, you can come and spin that wheel behind, and you can get an option to win one. We've got lots of cool prizes over there as well on M45. And if you want some free credits to try the tool, you want to try building a course yourself, you can sign up for a meeting with me. I'm actually the CRO of Edplay, so I do all the revenue, marketing, and sales. If you do want to come and have a call with me separately another time, we can set one up. If you want to see the product right now, you can do it there. If you want to log in your own time, you can get 250 free credits, which equates to 250 pages of content. You can go home, build, try it, and then talk to us later as well. Thank you very much.